What is up, my Squirtleites? It is I, your king. Welcome back to more Let's Play Pokemon White. In the last episode, we took a brief detour back in time, forward in time. Honestly, it's kind of hard to say. As we let winter set in Icera City and Twist Mountain, grabbed all the remaining items that could be gotten in those respective areas before we made our way here to New Vema Town, where we were taking a proper detour and surfing to victory. Now that we have the HM Surf, there are a lot of areas that were previously unavailable to us that we can now access. Really quickly, I think this person actually has something here. Never mind. Okay, for some reason I thought that one did, but no, that's not who I'm thinking of. Anyway, we're here on Route 17. We're going to be starting the episode today by just taking on all sorts of water-based trainers and others. I've got Shelob out in front with the lucky egg, so she is going to be doing most of the work here. Also, that complicates a little bit a few things when I immediately run into stuff. Wait, I thought I had a Super Repel active, but was I not paying attention when it deactivated at the very beginning? Oops, that was my bad. Let me put that back on really quickly here. I could have sworn. Okay, no, it did run out. Well, that's good because that's the last of our Super Repels, and now we can go with Max Repels for the remainder of the episode. Let me actually pull out the dowsing machine too, because that is going to be coming in handy as we go. We're going to be taking on all sorts of trainers today. Like I said, Shelob doing most of the work, grabbing a bunch of items. There's a lot to talk about out here. And actually, as I battle this guy, who's just going to probably be throwing Basculin at me, I want to talk about the two new Pokemon that can be gotten in this area, Frillish and Alomomola. Frillish is a water and ghost type Pokemon that evolves into Jellicent at level 40. This is a specially focused Pokemon with a great special defense and HP, a good special attack, average defense, and poor attack and speed. Its typing alone can make it a pretty attractive prospect, as well as a good learn set and some alright TMs to give it a little more type coverage than just water and ghost. However, I wouldn't go as far to say that anything about this Pokemon is exceptional. It can take some hits, but it isn't going to be a centerpiece in just about any battle. But if you still haven't gotten yourself a water type up to this point, I suppose it's alright to get. I just wouldn't bother with it personally. You have much better options for both water and ghost that have both been available before this point. Alomomola is a pure water type Pokemon that does not evolve from Love Disc, and I still consider this to be one of the most unforgivable things Game Freak has ever done. That one thing aside, this is not a very good Pokemon at all. It has an insanely high HP stat, a much better defense stat than special defense stat, and an average attack and speed stat with a really bad special attack stat. This thing is just not good. Again, making it a perfect evolution for something like Love Disc. It just doesn't do anything all that good except have a lot of HP, making it sort of tanky, but such a bad offensive Pokemon that it doesn't really do much of anything. The only place this Pokemon has is in triple battles, with Helping Hand, Wide Guard, and Healing Wish all at its disposal, and I think that is the only point it was ever meant to have. But unlike the double battle gimmick Pokemon from Generation 3, it's even less appealing and less useful at far too many points in this game. Don't bother. And I should also mention that this is an area where if you go into the water ripples, you can actually find wild Jellicent as well if you just kind of want to skip the middleman. But there we are, TM06 Toxic, which is an insanely good TM that thankfully is still readily available. It wasn't made super unavailable until later generations. TM06 is a move that you can teach to pretty much any Pokemon in the game. It's not very poison specific, but the actual function of it is poison specific. It causes the status condition badly poisoning, which is different from regular poisoning. I know I've talked about this earlier in the Let's Play, but I'm just going to re-clarify once again. Regular poisoning does a set amount of damage each turn. I believe it's 1/8 of the Pokemon's max HP every single turn. Toxic on the first turn does less than that. However, it ramps up significantly with every passing turn. I believe it's, and I could be wrong about the exact calculations, but I believe it's first turn, it's a 1/16, then it's 1/8, then it's 1/4, then it's half of the health. And I think it caps out at half health that it can do, but essentially it ramps up the amount of damage that it's doing the longer that it stays in effect. And no switching out is not going to be enough. You need to have antidotes or full heals or things like that to deal with it. There is, I believe, only one move in the game that can also cause this. And I think earlier in the playthrough, I mistakenly said that it was, and I did not mean to do it like that. Oops. I think I mistakenly said, no, I didn't want to do that. Never mind. That it was Poison Tail, but I believe it's actually Poison Fang. I think I had them backwards. Poison Fang has a very, very small chance of also causing badly poison, which, like I said, very devastating effect, so something to keep in mind. Other than that, though, there's not really anything else we're going to be encountering that's all that new, aside from what we've already talked about in the coming areas. However, there is a new Pokemon that I want to talk about once we go a little bit further into this place. There is some dry land ahead. There's this big island that we're going to be coming across where there's actually several more trainers as well as multiple other things to do. And we do need to have the Strength HM to progress all the way through that area, which is why I made sure that I had Tranquil and Watchog with me, as well as the Surf HM, because, yeah, there just wasn't enough room for Lumiette in this entire situation, and I really needed to have access to all these HMs to get everything done on the first go round. So Shelob, why don't you just hog all the experience for a while, become the most powerful member of the team, especially because I'm not even going to need you in the next gym all that much. And the reason I'm also okay with kind of putting Lumiette on the back burner is because she is going to shine in the next gym, which means that she is going to be getting a lot of experience once we get in there. So there we are. Her and Crush, as a matter of fact. In fact, I'm going to try to use Crush quite a bit in that gym as well. We got a Deep Sea Tooth. This is an evolutionary item that, when held by Clamperl, when leveling up, or actually, no, sorry, not when leveling up, when trading, evolves it into Huntail. There is also a Deep Sea Scale, which is the other one that evolves it into Gorobus. Huntail is the more offensive-minded Pokemon, and Gorobus is the more defensive-minded Pokemon. That's really all there is to that. But now we got some more trainers to battle as we get up here. Not too much for Shelob, actually, once we get into this area. Although, I can still do a fair bit of damage against rock types like Boldore and whatnot. So why don't we start off with a Charge Beam instead of an Electro Web. And I cannot wait for the moment where I get a move that's going to allow me to get rid of... Slash. I think that's still going to be a whiles yet. Oof, that was a lot of damage, though. Yeah, that's one kind of big issue here. Don't worry, I'll be switching off of her on the next Pokemon. But I just wanted to get that extra experience to get her to level 42. And there we are. All right, next one is Crustle. Okay, let's go with Crush for you. And we'll just be using Surf on this thing. I'm sure it's going to survive because it does still have Sturdy. As do a lot of Pokemon in this generation, unfortunately. A lot of rock Pokemon, I should say. More clearly. I think this is our first encounter with a Crustle. We've only been fighting Dwebble up to this point, which is cool. It's noteworthy. Oh, it did faint. It didn't actually have Sturdy. It was a surprise. I was not expecting that. It had its alternative ability this time. Interesting. Let me take that Lucky Egg off of Shelob then and try to give it to Crush as we continue through the land area. Not that we're going to be really running into many more hikers, but hopefully he'll be able to run into other scenarios where he's able to actually flex his stuff as we continue. But let's head on over this way, and we got a little house here. We're going to take a look inside really quickly. Hello, everybody. Wait, aren't your Pokemon a bit tired? Here, don't be shy, let them rest. And that is why I didn't want to waste any healing items on Shelob, because I knew that this was here. So this is your obligatory healing spot. Pokemon Trainer, the sparkle in your eyes, I feel your kindness towards Pokemon. I have decided I will entrust the egg I found in the Relic Castle to you. Would you like to receive this Pokemon egg and raise it? I would, except for my team is kind of full. All right, let's talk about the Pokemon, though, that can be found in this egg, because it is a doozy. If you thought Shelob was a good Bug-type Pokemon, holy crap, you ain't seen nothing yet. In fact, I would go as far to say that this is the best Bug-type Pokemon in all of Generation 5, Larvesta. Larvesta is a Bug and Fire-type Pokemon that evolves into Volcarona starting at level 59. Now, it's worth mentioning immediately that Larvesta itself is more of a slow and frail physical attacker that you're going to be waiting a long time to get the most out of. But once it evolves, it's unleashed as one of the best non-legendary Pokemon in the entire game. With an exceptional special attack, a very high speed and special defense, and a solid HP stat to boot, it does sort of flip its purpose upon evolving, so prepare for that. There is a very likely chance you may not even get this thing to evolve before the credits roll, so also keep that in mind. The requirement for evolving this is so steep, and it's the main reason I don't have one on my team. But with Quiver Dance making all of its best stats better, some amazing special type attacks in Bug Buzz, Heat Wave, and Hurricane, and eventually its signature move Fiery Dance, this thing is a monster. An investment, but a monster. Incorporate into your main game team with discretion, but absolutely use it in endgame. You know, I really do wish that I could actually take it with me right now, but unfortunately I can't. And that little barrier for entry, little barrier for entry, that extremely high level requirement for evolution is kind of the main reason I didn't put Larvesta on my team to be, because that is the best bug type Pokemon around. It also would have kind of negated the reason or the need for Lumiette on my team as well. But just due to the fact that you have to wait for frickin' ever to get that thing to actually evolve, it just didn't really work out in this game's favor, unfortunately, but the sequel might be a different story. Anyway, let's talk to this guy. You know how Pokemon like to hide behind stones or rocks? Yeah, sometimes they hide cool stuff, too. If you find something cool behind a rock, you should bring it to me. I'll make it worth your while. What's up? Did you find something cool for me? Nope, nothing cool in your bag. Oh, well, maybe next time. This guy is specifically a trader in stones and gems. Stones and gems of any kind, so it doesn't even necessarily have to be evolutionary stones, but it could even be something like the hard stone, which is the rock type move boosting item. But basically, he gives you double the money for every single one of those things, not unlike the mushroom gal from all the way back on, was that Route 4? Route 5? I don't remember. Past Nimbasa City. But regardless, let's now do battle against this lady here, this backpacker. And then we're actually going to head down first because that is where we need to use strength to progress. This whole area is actually a little bit of a maze. It's a bit complicated to get through, but don't worry, we should be able to figure it out. Of course, the very first Pokemon that I encounter, the second that I switch on over to Crush, is one that actually does a lot of damage to it, but I will try to get a rollout going. Oh, you could waste your time using acrobatics. That's honestly great. Now, hopefully static won't enact in the middle of this. I would appreciate... Now, I knew it was too good to be true. I was just kind of hoping that maybe it wouldn't, but it does, alas. I think I'll just run back into the house. I'm not going to waste any freaking healing items on this. And of course it misses. Of course it does. Yes, use acrobatics again, you piece of annoying garbage. Amalga, you're adorable, but man, oh man, you are the biggest thorn in the side in this generation. All right, now we may proceed. Managed to heal Crush up really quickly. I'm going to use Strength here to push this boulder into place. So let's do that. As you can see, it kind of just drops down in there. Is that our first instance of using... No, that's not. It's not. Sorry, I forgot. We used Strength earlier in the playthrough at least I think one time. But as we head further down here, I think there is an item that we can grab. Indeed, there is a Max Elixir. Pretty much the only thing back here, but worth grabbing nonetheless. There is a much more important Strength Rock, though, that we're going to be pushing down here. So let's do that next. And that will take us into this area where there's a couple of things. First of all, there's this guy. There's also a hidden item in here as well as a non-hidden item. So one thing at a time here. Hopefully this guy's not packing any Amalga. He probably isn't. Whimsicott, actually, which is possibly even more terrifying now that I think about it. Although I don't think this Whimsicott's going to be doing anything that hurts too badly. But let's get started with a rollout here. Mega Drain. That could be a little bit of an issue. Let's see. Ooh, yeah, that's a lot of damage. Hopefully this rollout does a lot. Yes, yes. Waste your time on Gust. Thank you. I'm sure it'll be down to use Mega Drain again. Okay, rollout. Okay, I just want to, clarify something here really quickly, just so that I don't seem like completely crazy. 90%. 90%. I do not know why that it misses so frequently, but there's honestly nothing I can do about that. I have been trying to make rollout work for the longest time. It is just not happening, which is why it is going to be getting replaced by another rock move relatively soon. It's been frustrating, but I promise I wasn't crazy in adding that to his move pool. I thought it was going to actually do me a favor, and it just hasn't so far. So let's just air cutter you. It's not worth trying to make it happen any longer. And there we go. Backpacker Sam has been beaten. Let's see what items we're gathering here. So first things first, we got a Dragon Scale. This is the Dragon type boosting held item. And here we got ourselves a Calcium, which I am probably going to be giving to Lumiette. So we'll just hang on to that. I mean, what's more, making her special attack even better than it already is. Why the heck not? All right, we have a path down here that we can take. Long stretch of grass here. I want to see if I can get to this item before my Max Repel wears out. And we got HM05 Waterfall. Pretty crazy of them to just be dropping an HM in the middle of the grass, but you're going to need that. Not for anything required, though. I should mention that is only for endgame stuff. There is one area that we have been to where we can now return and explore a little bit more, and that is Lostlorn Forest. But there is no Pokemon that I can give Waterfall to at the moment. So I Did I just run into... Oh, okay. I was like really confused. I did run into rustling grass. I'll take care of this real quick. Okay, so I'm actually coming back to you after the end of that battle because it did push Crush over the level that is the most important for this particular Pokemon, and that is level 40. We are definitely going to be learning this move. This is a move known as a Shell Smash. Let's talk about it for a moment. The user breaks its shell, lowering its defense and special defense stats, but sharply raising attack, special attack, and speed stats. That's right. This is the Glass Cannon move. You use it once. Yeah, it makes his defenses go down a little bit, although I can confidently say you'll probably still be okay if you're going up against physical attackers. And this just makes him an outright sweeper. He gets a whole lot faster and he does a whole lot more damage. If you really want to be risky, you can even get this thing to go twice, and yeah, then you should be untouchable. But we are going to be getting rid of Rollout. I know. For the moment, it doesn't seem like the smartest thing to do, but don't you worry. I have a plan. We're going to be getting another rock-type move on him later on. Don't you worry. But for right now, I feel like that is pretty much set in stone. Crunch and Bulldoze are just a lot more reliable. And on top of that, trying to use Shell Smash and then trying to wait for the Rollout to set itself up just doesn't really make a whole lot of sense. So yeah, these three moves, which just do outright damage a lot better, will be more than enough for the time being until I can get a hold of a better rock type move like, oh, I don't know, Rock Slide. But for the time being, that's going to be it for this episode. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you all so much for watching. I hope you all enjoyed this episode of Let's Play Pokemon White very, very much. Next episode, we will continue to make our way through Routes 17 and 18 because, surprise, surprise, we still haven't even explored all of Route 17, even though we got through it very, very quickly. So, yeah, a lot more left to do, and I hope you're all looking forward to it. So I will see you all in the next one.